Thank you for your patience. Oh my god, I hate this fucking iPad. I'm aware. I'm aware that I complain too much. And I don't think my eyebrows look good. I told you what I did, right? It just looks weird. I mean, now that I'm drawing your attention to my eyebrows, you will notice that I mentioned yesterday I plucked a whole bunch of my eyebrow, right? So basically, like, the part that curves down, I plucked that shit off. So if you look closely, you'll see that that's basically the eyebrow that I have left. I don't have that part. And you see I drew the lines to go up because I wanted to make myself look a little meaner. I don't think this looks right. I don't know. I didn't like think about it. I just did it. And I don't think this looks right. Anyway, well, it is the way it is now. Like, it's done. Obviously, it will grow back eventually. Oh my god. And I didn't put on, like, concealer or foundation, so what you see is really me. I mean, I don't have to point it out to you, the flaws, but now I just put bronzer on my neck, so I feel like that does a better job of at least making my jawline more visible, whereas if I don't do that, then the double chin will look more noticeable, I think. I watched this video interview about a guy in the CIA, or actually a former CIA agent. And I honestly feel kind of bad for him. I mean, you can tell that he suffered a lot. I mean, like all of us, we probably had some trauma at some point in our lives. Whether it's from your family or partner, etc. Look, I don't like the angle of the iPad. What I did was I moved it down into the middle shelf. So I opened the middle shelf because it's resting, all like 3 devices are resting on my 3-drawer shelf. I pulled the drawer out and then I closed it back with the tripod. Like, it's a Gorilla Pod, so it's basically in my 2nd drawer, and it's not a good angle, but you could see the dolls that I have on the top of my shelf, right? Because you can see it from the Genius also. And I'm gonna donate this fucking thing. Look, one of the reasons why I have so much shit is because I also like to please my SDs, because like some of them are really drawn to the color of blood. I wonder who they are. So yes, I have some vampires here, but yeah. They like the color red and maroon, burgundy, so that's why I have this. But, you know, everybody has different likes and different things that they would like as an offering. Look, this is a very expensive rock. It's actually a meteorite. I'm not even going to tell you how much it is. Now, if you look at the side, it's like silver colored. And this wider base, well, this is what happens when you're constantly touching it. It dulls the color. Like, obviously, my oils got onto the meteorite. But yeah, this is like some random ass shit that I'll have lying around my house that's very expensive. But people, like, if you didn't know what the fuck it was, you wouldn't know that it's expensive. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of have to be a rock collector, a crystal lover, to know that this is an expensive rock. Anyway, another thing I want to explain is my feelings. Like, I feel guilty or negative feelings when I'm featuring, let's just say, a doll that I want to part with. Because here's the thing is, because everything has a cost, right? I keep saying space, energy, time, money, right? The dolls take up space. And I want to declutter. I want to lighten my load. But if I'm spending time with this doll on camera, then I'm not spending as much time with the people who are going to be remaining in my family, right? And I just have so much shit. Oh yeah, back to the CIA former agent guy. The reason why I feel kind of sorry for that guy is because, he was explaining, like, his relationship with his mom. Because his dad was not there. His dad died before he was born. And basically, he explained that when he was older, he got into a fight with his stepdad. And at one point, he asked his mom, "Who do you love more? Me, your son, or my stepfather?" And her response was that, of course, she loves her new husband more than her son, because she chose her partner. Whereas with her son, she didn't get to choose him, and that she has to love him just because she's his mom. And that was like, wow. That makes me feel sorry for him, but at the same time, I can relate to this guy because I've told my mom that I feel like she hates me more than she loves me. That's how I feel. I mean, you cannot change how I feel about, I mean, like, obviously there's a reason why I feel this way, and I told you, like, the way she talks, it's like every time I talk to her, it's like an argument. Like, she has to win at every argument because we're like lawyers fighting a court case. But yeah, I don't feel like I can trust, because the video that was in this interview was basically, they talked a lot about, like, liars, and basically he had a traumatic childhood, but in having been brought up the way he was, with, a good foundation to be a CIA agent, like, he was recruited by the CIA. But it wasn't until then that he realized that, he had a traumatizing, childhood. But he was a successful person, because he learned certain skills. And obviously you need to, like, be able to lie if you're going to be having a successful clandestine career in the CIA, right? So my point is, I do have, like, empathy, or I sympathize with this guy, because I know what it feels like. One time, I'm sorry for like, you know, sharing such like depressing things, but like for you to understand what kind of person I am, it's like, when you study psychology, there's a lot of things. Look, it's already 10 and a half minutes, so I have to stop like 2 of the videos. I don't even know if like that will upload successfully. But in psychology, you learn that a lot of your life and your personality or your beliefs is shaped by your childhood. And one of the things that really put a damper on my psyche or my sense of self-worth, etc., is, when I came home to visit my family one time, this is after like I was in the military already. So this is while I was still on active duty. Look, I don't like that there's so much empty space above my head on this fucking camera. But anyway, I was home on leave, and somehow my mom told me that, like, I don't know what we were talking about, but I just remember her saying that she wanted to divorce my dad as soon as I was born. And my mom is really old school in the fact that in my culture, in Chinese culture, if you do not marry, I guess, by a certain age, then you're considered, like your worth or value as a woman, as a person, just goes down. And she came from a family, a big family, with a lot of other siblings. And the thing was that her younger sibling was getting married. And when this happened, she felt pressure to marry before her younger sibling. You understand? Because that was her set of beliefs at the time. And I have to also stop this camera because I know this is going to give me a hard time on YouTube. My point is, she didn't marry my father for love. If you ever ask her, like, why did she get married to my dad, or why did she marry my father, she'll never say that she loves my father. It's just kind of fucked up, like, that a woman, like, if I was to think of or put myself in her shoes and to see my self-worth like that, it really sucks in my culture, in Chinese, Asian culture, right? Just feeling like, number one, just being a female in like Asian culture, it's like your worth boils down to the fact that you as a person feel like a burden to your family because, like, let's just say, for example, in Indian culture or like other cultures, you have the thing called the bride price, the dowry, right? I think it depends like what culture you're talking about, but like for the most part, I think it's like there's always it's a transaction, marriage. And in a lot of ways it still is, because you use marriage as a tool for social mobility. Anyway, my point is, it's a transaction, and either the bride's family or the groom's family will, pay a price. And, that, in my opinion, just having a price over your head, because, like, there's some, I saw some videos where, like, you could buy a bride, for a certain amount of money in different countries. It's just crazy, like, because that's, like, the olden times, but, depending on where you are in the world, these customs and practices are still in use actively today, right? I mean, if I was to, like, look at my identity as a Chinese American, I guess you could say that I feel fortunate for having been born in America, because, like, let's just say, for example, right now, my thoughts and beliefs or opinions about China and Hong Kong, like, or China, they have really, well, aside from the whole communism and then, like, the one-child policy and the, what do you call it? What the fuck is that? Social credit system, the surveillance all over China. And then, of course, I told you I don't trust anything that comes out of China, because I saw, like, how they pump sewage waste out of the sewer and they somehow turn it into, like, cooking oil, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, there's just so much crazy shit over there. I don't trust the Chinese people whatsoever. Even though that's, like, my ancestry, right? But yeah, I just cannot imagine, like, because, if a couple has a female baby and they want a boy, then more than likely what happens is they'll just fucking leave the baby girl for dead in the forest or some shit. Like, that happens a lot. It's sad, but, and now they have this problem where there's too many females, or not enough, or too many men, and they're unable to find a bride or whatever. Like, this is what happens, like, when the government is just, like, controlling every aspect of your life. I think in, North Korea, like, you can only choose from, like, a certain menu of hairstyles. Can you imagine? That's just ridiculous. But anyway, so in a way I am grateful to be American. And I mean, if you think about it, this is simply only my mom's generation. Like, such a backwards way of thinking. But, and then, so, like, obviously she has trauma that she's never gonna resolve. And it's like generational, because obviously her mom treated her in such a way because my grandma's mom treated her poorly, or, you know what I mean? Because my culture or my people don't value women, which is really sad. But yeah, so I went off on a tangent, and I'm sorry, but I just wanted to explain these things because, everything about, your beliefs and your upbringing shape your reality, your perspective, and your world. And I was just trying to explain to you, self-worth, right? So it's just like, I recently said something to her that she said was hurtful, and I was like, well, I mean, you say hurtful things to me all the time, so I guess she doesn't like it when I give her a taste of her own medicine. But to her it was hurtful, but like to me, I see it as me just like stating the facts, right? With the way she is, I simply said, I think you just want people to feel sorry for you because, like, there's people who, like, are Debbie Downers and they just want people to feel sorry for them. And I feel like my mom is one of those people. Like, she likes to manipulate you and pull at your heartstrings, etc. But yeah, this video is getting too long, so let me just stop the video. I don't want to be talking about such, like, negative, sad, depressing shit, but at the same time, I think it's good that you know where I'm coming from. Because, like, obviously, when I, like, heard my mom saying this, it was like, wow. Because basically, what she did was, she is pointing at me, like, making me feel guilty. This is like my own self-therapy, FYI. Making me feel guilty that she stayed with my dad all those years because of me. Not because, like, she loves my dad or anything. It's simply because she felt like it was her obligation because she's my mother. So, yeah. I told you my therapist, or Jill, that's her stage name, was saying that maybe, subconsciously I'm drawn to toxic people because of my mom. Toxic, neglectful people, because my dad neglected me and my mom is just a psychopath. But yeah. So, yes, we all have certain things we need to work on. Like, I told you, I grew up agnostic, even though I went to church, a Catholic church, with my friend. I mean, I was a child, so I wasn't really paying attention. I just spent more time with my friend because I preferred hanging out with her instead of my own family. But now I have my own family. And yeah, it's crazy because, like, I care more about, my material possessions and objects. But, of course, there's a spirit attached to these objects, a dead person. And I see them as my family. Anyway, let me just stop this video because it's getting a little bit too long.